Happy Friday, you guys. I have had a killer week. I have kept to my tasks. I've kept to the diet. I'm already, 12, 13 days in. It's just second nature. It was easier this time around. A friend of mine said, "Oh, maybe it's because you just did it, like, a couple months ago." And I'm like, "No, because I kept starting and stopping." I think it's a matter of slowly maturing, slowly understanding that what are the alternatives? It's either you put parameters in place for you to succeed in your life or you're going to fail. So, what are the alternatives? Eating poorly? That's not good. That's not good for productivity. That's not good for my body. That's not good for my future. So, it's been great killing it out here in these streets. Let's see what I want to talk to you about today. I know, really long pause, but it's because I have uh, some idea of what I wanted to say, and I don't know if I want to share that today or save it for like Monday. Yeah, let's do that. Let's leave a little bit of a cliffhanger, saving it to Monday, because I got some exciting news to share. Interesting. It's also like just the idea of if everybody's doing something one way doesn't mean it's the only way. And it's okay to be different. It's okay to say, I want something different. So if you look at someone's life and you say, uh, I want stability like they have, you have to go like this. You have to ask yourself, real question, truth. Do you want their life? What does that look like? Certain choices, maybe a level of mediocrity that exists. And if you don't like the life that you're seeing before you of somebody else, obviously, if you're listening to me, you already don't like your life, or you definitely know there's room for improvement. And there's always room for improvement. Um, but you got to take the whole package. You don't just get stability, it's a bunch of choices with it. Like the people who have the quintessential suburb life, two-car garage. They go out to eat when they want and all these things, but it's like, what's the trade-off versus like shooting for the stars, going after for what you really want. Like, if you really, really want, listen to me here. If you really, really want to live in the suburbs, if that's your peak, like this is my goal, man, a nice big house in the burbs. I could buy a motorcycle and a boat, and I'm living the dream, man. And I gotta tell you, if you guys don't understand this, this is something, just good facts to know. If you make over, I think it's either 32,000 or 34,000. I know it's just over 30 grand. You are literally the top 1% of the world. People talk all this smack about America. You literally are the top 1%, the privileged class of the entire world if you make over 30 grand. We're talking about household here. Household income, baby. That's two McDonald's wages right there in one house, a husband and wife. Oh, and by the way, if you're married, you have what's it called? Uh of the people who are considered in poverty, I think only 3% are married or something like that. So poverty rates are almost non-existent in married people. So there's an order of things. If you graduate high school, uh, have a kid after you're 20 versus before, and have a kid after you're married versus out of wedlock, you have like a 97% chance you will not be in poverty. Just that alone. But anyway, those are just numbers to make you think, and to see some of the, what's it called, factors, recipe of success, of building your life properly on a good foundation. And mind you, hey, we all make mistakes. There's mistakes in the past. That doesn't mean your future is not bright, but you gotta like cut the bleeding, right? And like fix it so that you can have a bright future and be accountable to your mistakes. Hey, if own up to them. A mistake doesn't define your value. A mistake just says, oops, how do we fix it? That's what it is. But you got to be accountable. You're like, yeah, I didn't do it. I didn't do it in the right order. Let's say if that's you. That's okay. Admit it and then cut off the bleeding and start doing the steps that you need to go to where you want to go. But anyway, I say all of that to say, and to some people, living in a suburb is a dream. Like, people raised in extreme poverty, that's a dream. That's like, man, I can live somewhere that's, I can go outside, it's safe. I have a room, everybody can have their own space, whatever. Like that could totally be a dream for somebody. I don't knock it. But I just want to say, if that's what you want, uh, two things. One, if that's your top dream, go for it, because you don't have to dream the same way I do. But if you want more, but out of fear, you ain't trying to go there. Hmm. You have to think about that one, right? Because you will never be happy in a settled life. You will never be happy if you settle. So, what is the dream in your heart? If you want the burbs, then you better look at the people's lives over there and say, do you want the whole picture? Because the whole picture isn't necessarily all roses, right? Is it aligned with what you want? So you got to ask yourself that. And as you hear me say, shoot for the stars, man. What is, excuse me, the desire in your heart? Excuse me, sheesh. I keep talking about where you want to live. I mean, that's just like one of the main ones. Why? Because where you live is like where you're at all the time, your space. But what is the desires of your heart of what to accomplish, where you want to live, what schools you want your kids to go to? Do you want them to go to private school? Oh, but it's expensive. But you can do it. You can do anything you set your mind to. You are literally in the most privileged nation on earth where you can carve out your destiny. You could decide what you want, carve it out, and go get it. So, what do you want? Now, I'm a pipe dreamer naturally. And yes, when I was struggling and I had to close my business, and I mean, there's a point where I didn't even have a house to live, and I was going from house to house. I guess all great entrepreneurs, I know we're waiting for the great entrepreneur part, but all great entrepreneurs go through a period of sleeping on someone's couch, right? And yes, actually, I know a lot of them like that. Like a good friend of mine whose company is worth over 10 million today. He after he quit his job because he was unhappy, he found himself sleeping on the couch of someone's house. Um. Anyway, uh, after all, so I'm a pipe dreamer. And when I was going through all those things, I would say, man, I wish I had like certain people that I know that have this little suburb house, their bills taken care of. Like, I just wish, because everything was a struggle. Everything, there wasn't money, you know? When you broke and your car breaks, yo, that's not fun. When you broke and you got a medical situation, not fun. That's why Dave Ramsey always talks about get out of debt, save your emergency fund, because there's always emergencies. And what does an emergency fund do? Take the stress out of emergencies, right? I never knew that life. I still don't, because I don't have an emergency fund. However, since it's been 3 years living on cash, working on getting out of debt, being intentional, living within our means, your life is different now. Even finding more money, like we are making The most money we've made now, because you get hyper intentional about where you're going and what you want. But anyway, I just wanted to say, and we're gonna make even more money because we're getting out of debt this year. But I wanted to say all that if you're gonna want something, you're gonna have to take the whole package, and you gotta decide if that's really what you want. And if you don't, if you want something else, that's cool too. Whatever it is that you want, I want you to dig into what you want and go out and get that, okay? Now, since I'm a pipe dreamer, I'm just gonna turn this chair a little bit. I don't know if you'll be able to get the view. Turn the chair, turn the chair, turn the chair. Yeah. So that's what I want. I mean, I currently live here because I rent here, but that's where I want to own, with a view like that, beyond the water, and that's our goals. That's what we've set forth. You know, pipe dream, baby. You can do it. I have a lot of stories because I started writing my book, and in that story, it talks about, well, my story about things that didn't go well in my life in the past, mistakes I made, all the above, the cards I was dealt. And it's so easy for everybody to look at whatever, like even the fact that I live here with a view. But part of it is I'm aware of a lot of things. One is that rent in Miami is expensive wherever you are. You're in the hood, expensive. You're in a nice area, a little bit more expensive, premium. But Miami's very interesting, which with luxury, it's not very expensive, not much more than what you pay in, you know, uh, other areas that don't have the view and the amenities. It's kind of interesting. And of course, when it's a soft market, what gets hit the most is the luxury properties, right? Because money ain't going around like that to pay for it. We're in a soft market right now. But everybody has like certain ideas. So if they see you, you live here, I live here, thinking, you know, we got money, thinking, oh, I must have been raised rich, well, all kind of opinions, but nobody really knows, obviously, my story until I share it, which I'm sharing it with you guys, bits and pieces. But I'm writing a book right now, the book on my life. And the reality is, whatever cards you are dealt, some really suck, okay? And some are great. Some people got some great cards, right? And sometimes that's actually a detriment because no character was built. But the point is, the cards you were dealt don't determine your hand later in life. You do. Like your choices are really what determines your end game. So what you're gonna choose? You're gonna choose to be pissed off and mad at an ethereal being that held your life down all your life? What good is that gonna do? It's time for you to look at yourself, decide what you want, go after it. And what does that look like? Going after anything takes sacrifice. Going after anything has a level of risk. But it's funny, whenever people say, I'm just not bold enough, I go, you're very bold, because the choice you're making now to stay where you are is much more riskier than trying to improve your life. Because you're going to end up when you're 60, 70 without money to be able to take care of yourself with the choices you're making now. Obviously, I phrase it a certain way, or it's not like I'm trying to insult the person. But the point is, people think that being more risk averse or out of fear not taking certain steps is actually the safer thing, when it's the more dangerous thing. Because guess what? The world's going to keep moving. The world's going to keep innovating. And if you ain't trying to improve yourself, learn something new, go get some degree, cash flowed. If you ain't trying to make yourself more marketable to this world, bring skills that have value, you're going to be left behind. And what happens when you're left behind? You're only going to be able to get a minimum wage job, if they even exist anymore, because everything's being automated. I mean, hello. But I can say all of these things But really, all I'm trying to say is the cards you were dealt don't determine where you're going. You do. Sure, some started with a head start, some started really way far back behind. But the winner in the tortoise and the hare was the tortoise. And that's one of like the biggest, most important books after the Bible for Dave Ramsey. Because consistency over time, the tortoise won. The hare. The hare could be that one that was born into money, that one that was all like, I'm flashy, I'm cute, I'm pretty, look at my new car. And then it's like 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now, they just spent all their money on things that don't have any lasting value. Now they have nothing. I know people like that who have literally thrown their money in the trash, have nothing, and now they're too old to make any money. Anyway, I know there's a lot said in this video, but it's really just saying, don't be a victim. Don't look at what wasn't handed to you or who did some damage to you or whatever. No. Where are you in your goal plan? What do you need to do to get to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing? What would better your life? More income? Studying something? A certain skill set? Like, small steps over time yield results. Consistency over time equals success. And if you don't make those tweaks today, 10 years from now, you're going to be at the same spot. You keep hearing me talk about 10 years. But I told somebody this, and I believe it. In 10 years, I'm going to be rich. At the rate I'm going, and the plans that I have, and the relentlessness that I have, there's no other option. But it takes intentionality today. It takes looking at yourself and being honest with yourself and your choices. And when you screw up, we all screw up. Okay? Why don't I have an emergency fund? Why don't I have an emergency fund? Why? Because I threw away money, all my money in the trash. I lived like if like I was spending like if I was in Congress, as as Dave Ramsey says. But I lived like there was no consequences. I lived for today and not for tomorrow. And I don't have an emergency fund. I don't have anything in retirement. If you start your retirement in your 20s, you have like 3 times more money than me starting at some point here in the next year or two. Those are just facts. So when you learn these facts, what are you going to do? Keep making excuses? Or are you going to get up and do something about it? And I'm sharing this because, not because I gain anything, because it will be to your detriment if you don't make changes. And what am I telling you? I'm saying, think about what when you envision your perfect future, when you envision your future that money's not an issue, where do you want to live? What do you want to be doing? What are the goals of your life? Decide those and then go, okay, now what do I need to do to get there? I'm giving you all these tips and finances. I'm giving you the tools. I'm sharing my story as I go, my mistakes and all these things. But just be honest and then make a decision, and then you're going to have to live a sacrificed life. That's the only way. All millionaires that were interviewed live within their means. Most never buy new cars. Most never get into debt, as you heard the last video. If you can't pay it cash, you can afford it. Because you can afford payments doesn't mean you can afford something. You're going to have to forego that purse, forego them shoes, forego things, But you're investing in the end result that you're seeing in your life, that you want for your life. But decide that thing and then be real with yourself. Where am I doing well? Where am I currently screwing up? Where have I screwed up in the past? Don't beat yourself up, but have honest moments and say, I don't want this anymore, and make a change. Make a change. Small steps, but you gotta do it, man. You gotta do it, because the years are gonna pass. I just talked to somebody who said she wanted to lose weight before getting into the police academy. I was like, or trying out. And it's been apparently 5 years since she wanted to started working, whatever life happens, I go, just go. Just go. Don't wait till X day. I go, if you don't make it because of your physical condition, then now you know that's all you need is to lose 20 pounds or whatever. But you're going to sit around till one day? One day never comes. Do it. Do it. Get up and do that one thing today. One plan, one thought, one action step towards what you're dreaming of. So, super long share. I didn't even know I was going to go in this direction. But Monday, I got something super interesting to share with you. So, I look forward to seeing you Monday. Have a great weekend, you guys.